Welcome to Fuel. Fuel stands for Finance, Unity, Empowerment, Legacy. Join Dr. Jackie, Dennis, and Mac as they continue their conversation in part 2 called Diversity.
So I propose that we get a crystal ball.
What a good idea.
But so let's look at this crystal ball. I'm gonna ask some questions if I can remember them all. So here's the first question. Do you think taxes are going to go up or down? Do you think gas cars are going to be around forever? Do you think electric cars are going to take over? Do you think do you think that you have saved enough money to make it through a 3, 6, or a 12-month period where you were making no income? Do you own your job? How important is your degree if there's nowhere to work?
Wow.
Why do we, okay, when you're pushing your children to things, you always push them to college, or you give them an option of a trade school. And I do have a really good example of that because I was in school for electrical engineering. I got recruited by a company that dealt in electrical engineering. And, I sat in the interview, I said, well, I don't have my degree yet. You know what they told me? They did not care. Because we're going to have to train you again. We're going to train you. So we'd rather have you now after you get your degree. And I had never heard that before in my life. And they put me in a 4-year training program, and I had to pass. And after I passed, I was like, well, what's the minimum age to start this program? Because, I done been in college. I'm older. Started college a year after I graduated high school, so I'm older. They said you could start at 18. I'm like, well, how come y'all don't tell anyone? Because there are a lot of things out there. I was just talking to a friend of mine today who was worried about getting laid off. And I said, you know what? 6 months in a program to be a plumber, you can make $100,000 a year or more.
Yeah.
You get in there, you do a 6-month HVAC program, you can make $100,000 a year or more. 6 months in college, you're still a freshman with no skills. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not down on college. I think everybody should go. But I think you got to be realistic about your outcome, because very few people get work in the degree that they receive. I have a lot of friends that got music degrees, and they're not working in music. So what happens? They went to the school with good intentions, but we got bills to pay, and them good intentions will turn into whatever job is available. So, when you're looking for higher education, don't look down on that plumber. Don't look down on that electrician or that carpenter or the mechanic, auto mechanic. Yeah, they didn't spend 4 years, 6 years, or 8 years, or 12, depending on which your vocation you planned on being. But tell me one doctor that don't have to take his car to the mechanic. Tell me one lawyer that don't have to call an electrician when something happens at his house.
Diversification of your skill set and how you're going to actually create this wealth. So before you can even have diverse places in order to put wealth, you got to have the wealth to actually be able to manipulate. So with that said, you know, and I know, again, this is no throwing no shade to colleges and things of that nature, but there are many people that are doing incredible things before they ever get to college age, and they're already entrepreneurs.
Right.
Many young people have mastered the social media platform, have become what they call influencers, and are making buku money, but they haven't figured out, now how do I take the money that I'm making and diversify it? So I would tell anybody, you know, if they're in a career right now, you still better have something on the side that you can rely on just in case COVID hits or whatever new monstrosity might hit in the future. Like, you don't want to rely on stimulus checks that come every 6 months, maybe, in order to be able to take care of your families. So we have to, and that's a protective mentality. We have to think about protection of our families, and also protection of our futures. So we should always be thinking not just about what's going on today, because it's great that you have a job that's taking care of your needs and even allowing you to enjoy some of the creature comforts. But better if you have a plan that will take you beyond just today, where you know that you have that nest egg, whether it's, you know, in the stock market or you know, index investing, annuities, et cetera, and to know that you have a portfolio, which is one of my favorite words, a portfolio that you can look at and say, hey, I've got all my bases covered. So I can be pretty confident that even if one of these things may not work, then the other ones should pick up the slack, so that I should never have to be going out there relying on a stimulus check in order to pay my rent or to pay my bills.
He attacked that stimulus hard, didn't he, Dr. Jackie?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm gonna let it go, but those people that are actually waiting on it, like that's the promised land for them, well, all they're really saying is that Uncle Sam is their dad. And so I don't want Uncle Sam to be my dad, because that means Uncle Sam, what he giveth, he can taketh away. And he will take it away. He will take it away, because believe me, this money that's going out there is not going out there without a price. Somewhere down the line, we're going to understand what that price is.
Yeah, probably going to be pretty bad too.
And you know, I agree with you about the reliance. It's just that we are in a situation where so many people have been unable to find a way to work. And because so many jobs have closed, they're not able to find a way to get work. And so for them, the stimulus does offer a way to maintain, but it is short-lived. I realize that, you know, one time it's 600, another time it's whatever, but then it's gone because the bills have been piled up, and then it's gone and there's nothing else. what do we always hear? The greater percentage of people who win the lottery are broker than they started within 5 years. There's no plan. It's like, oh my gosh, I got all this money. What am I gonna do? Right? Right?
Yes. Right. I mean,
I want to talk about that stimulus check.
Okay.
Just real quick, you know, I've been working, paying taxes for about 44 years. And I didn't collect any unemployment. I'm barely going to get Social Security. I don't look at that stimulus check. I do realize that there's strings attached, but it's the first time I got a chance to get something back. It's not like reparations or anything, because reparations have already been paid to the slave owners. This is the first time that the slaves get paid. I'm sorry for using those words that way, but even you know, there are companies that can no longer, well, things are changing now, but during the height of this thing that's going on, they couldn't open their businesses. So I think it's good that the stimulus checks were available to people to open their businesses and for people to be able to go in those businesses and buy stuff, which has a net effect of being able to pay somebody to give them money to pay their rent. So I don't look at it as 100% bad thing, but I do realize that I hope people are preparing for that day when the uncle wants his pay.
Right.
Because it's surely going to come, because the last thing I heard, they never canceled April 15th tax day. And pretty soon you got to write down, I got 4 stimulus checks, I got 5, whatever the amounts that they're giving out, that's going to have to go on your taxes. So if you expect a $5,000 tax return this year or next year, or whenever they start tightening that belt, I said, but the thing you really got to wonder is, where is this money coming from? All of a sudden, there's $1 trillion floating around.
Right.
Now, from what I heard from one of them YouTube videos I was on, or something, it wasn't YouTube, they could have given everybody $100,000 and still not get to $1 trillion. I'm talking about individuals. So, wow, where did it come from? Where did it go? And how they gonna get it back? So while you're out there taking your stimulus check and buying big screen TVs, or now if you're catching up on your bills, you know, I'm a firm believer, keep the lights on, keep the heat on, keep food in your belly. But if it's a bill for a brand new pair of sneakers or a brand new pair of boots, it might not be the smartest way to do this. But, you know, you got, like Jack said, and my counterpart, Mac, you got to have a plan. You know, somebody don't give you something. I think there's a story in the Bible, actually. I know I'm going to murderize it. Max will help me out. It had to do with 3 brothers and some talents. They were given talents and set out in the world. I look at the stimulus check as some talent. One brother wasted it, right? Or he didn't grow. He buried it in the sand.
Yes. Another
brother doubled his money. And another brother was extremely, and he multiplied it over and over again.
Well, actually, just a slight correction. You're right. Three guys. Both, they were given a certain amount to invest for their boss, based upon their skill level. So to one guy he gave 5, to another guy he gave 2, and to the other guy he gave 1. Okay, so the first 2 guys, they went out and They're doing what we're talking about now. They diversified the money into whatever investments were out. And so that the one guarantee is that, yeah, you might be able to still have that amount of money under the ground, but that money would not have an opportunity to grow. So I didn't mean to hijack your story, but I think it's important to get it right, because this is dealing with even that rule of 72 that we talk about, because basically the first two guys used the rule of 72 so that when they were able to come back to their boss, the one that had 5 came back with 10. The one who had 2 came back with 4. So even though the dollar amounts were different, the sum of it is that they both maximize the growth. And that's what we're talking about with our community that's listening to us, that it's not about the dollar amount that you start out with, it's about being able to double it and double it and double it and double it over and over and over again at the best possible rate, and not be the way a lot of people in this world are acting. While we're just going to kind of hide what we got because we're scared, or we don't know what we're going to do or what's going to happen. And then when you come back to the boss and you say, hey, I didn't lose anything, but yeah, you did, because time had gone by, which means that inflation had gone up. So even that one thing that he was able to return to the master, the value of it wasn't even the same. It probably had decreased in value. So that's the lesson. Sorry, I hijacked that.
That's all right. Well, you know, we're trying to get the information across correctly. And I knew that you were passionate about verses. So I'm glad you took over that point. But, you know, something as simple as the rule of 72 that tells you how fast your money is going to double is very important. And how that same rule of 72 can show you how fast you're going to lose money is even more important.
That's right.
It is right.
Yep. I mean, it's like gasping for air, you know. You know, somebody put you in a room and they say it's sealed and there's no air, only the air that's in that room. What are you going to do? You're going to breathe deep, or you can take little breaths?
Yeah.
The faster you breathe, the quicker you expire. So I'm sure you'll take that calculation in mind right at that moment. And this is how important this is. Your financial health is like every breath you take.
Now that is true.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell our audience that I'll pick up the phone in a minute to call Dennis when there's something going on in reference to an investment opportunity or something like that that I don't fully understand. Because the other part of this, as we talk about diversification, is also making sure that it actually makes sense to you, to the point that you could explain it to someone else. And it's so important. So I'm sure that there are probably many opportunities out there that I personally could take advantage of, but I probably haven't done it yet, just because I just want to make sure I understand how it works and what's the profit loss potential of a particular investment, or some type of protection like insurance. I just want to make sure, and I want our audience to make sure that they do their homework and making sure they really understand how this thing works, how to know that, when you're going into an investment, a potential investment, that better to get in on the ground level where the cost is lower than to have already the wave has already started, and then you're coming in too high. And we can talk about Bitcoin. I'll even allow Dennis to put me on blast in reference to Bitcoin as to how I didn't get in as soon as I could. You want to go ahead and put me on blast?
Well, you know what, in your defense, there's really no one that can tell you exactly what's going to happen. So when I started doing Bitcoin, yes, I called my friends and I said, hey, Bitcoin is going crazy. So I bought Bitcoin and I called Mac and I said, Mac, Bitcoin's $9,000. Let's do this. Mac said, I'm gonna do some research. I said, okay. Then I called him back and said, Mac, Bitcoin is $10,000. Let's do this. I'm already in it, so I'm gaining money. Bitcoin hit $11,000. I said, Mac, come on. You could have got money and got out by now and been okay. So, but it's all about, he had to feel comfortable though. He had to do his research. You know, I have another friend, I called him, I said, hey, if you got any money, buy this stock. Was I guessing? No, I do a lot of research. And I said, this stock is going to go up. And I called him, I said, look, if you got anything, buy this stock. I'm buying it. So it's the same as the Bitcoin, but they bought it right away. Now Mac took a couple times of me bugging him before he did it, but my other friend bought it right away. And then the company did a 1-for-5 split. That means every one share you bought, they gave you 5. And now each one of those shares is about $700. So every now and then I say, so are you still happy? They say, I'm up 14,000. I'm up 20,000. I'm like, right on. And you know what? I don't take any money from my friends, you know, because to me, it's all about all of us winning, you know. So they don't pay me. I don't ask them to pay me. I just tell them, look, I've been looking at this. I think it's going to be good, but I don't know. I don't know everything. There's always something out there. So when I called Mac, I'm like, Mac, we've been friends for a long time, brother. You might want to do this. So as far as the Bitcoin went, Bitcoin is now $60,000. We made out pretty well. The company that we worked with didn't work out very well. So, you know, it's just like anything else. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. The idea is to try to take as much of the risk out as possible. And that's what we focus on. And that's why we push education more than anything. You know, wow, stimulus check, go get education. You want to do stocks, go get education. You want to do cryptocurrencies, go get education. You want to know where free education is? Contact us. We will show you where free education is. You know, because we're here to lift up the community, not to make money off of the community. And I'm sorry, I know people got to make money, and they make money by teaching people this stuff. So I'm not saying that you're bad people. I'm just saying that there's ways to get anything for free. And if you want it for free, you know, contact us. You can do it in your own home. Almost at your own time. Not exactly, but you can do it for free. And then you can go pay somebody to teach you if you want. From Forex to insurance, mutual funds, whatever you want to know, you know someone that teaches you for free. So that's my part. And no, I wouldn't talk bad about Matt. You know, we have been through a lot together. Most of it was parents. Wow. And how do you prepare for that?
Right.
So,
Right.
both of these people in this line, I want to thank them actually, because without them, I wouldn't really understand what you go through with your parents. At different times, they went through things that I'm going through. And I see it and I understand it. And I realize that not only do you look out for yourself in this world, you got to make sure your children are okay. And you got to make sure your parents are okay. I know I said that already, but, it just seemed like a thought that needed to be said again. If you don't take care, if you don't always look out for yourself, you look out for other people, your problems usually pretty much are smaller. We always had problems. Like someone once said, either getting into a problem, getting out of a problem, or you're living the free life, but you're getting ready to get into something.
Or you're going through the problem.
Or you're going through it. Thank you, Dr. Jackie.
Yeah.
Your fireplace is beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Jackie, you got the final word, I believe.
Well, we always round it up with education, and that the information is clear. I think so. My final word is going to be plan. With that education, set up a plan of how you can have your money work for you, and you can plan that. And by looking at multiple ways to do it. When you look at my background and different books, they're not all the same. You've seen scenes where all of the same, but they're different. So rather it's the cover of the content, you're going to get different information from it. And so you can make a plan that can lead you to where you want to go for you and your family. And remember that legacy.
But on behalf of Dr. Jackie, on behalf of Dennis Sawyer and myself, we thank you for spending some time with us. And as Dennis alluded to, reach out and contact us. You can reach out to us via email at fuelingfuturegenerations2020@gmail.com. Again, take care, have a great day, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us at Fuel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fueling Future Generations, and also reach out to us with any questions or comments at our email address, fuelingfuturegenerations2020@gmail.com. Have a great rest of the day.